childhood. Okay, it's in page number 58. It is in page number 58. Okay, am I audible to everyone? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So let's start. Okay, so this is the last poem in this book, and even in your syllabus also. This is the last poem. Okay, childhood. It's composed by Marcus Nathan. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography, and therefore could not be was that the day? So here in this poem, the poet illustrates about his lost childhood days, about his lost childhood memories. Okay, so here the poet wonders about when his childhood came to an end. Okay, when he had lost his childhood. So the poet asked himself that when he had lost his childhood, when his childhood had come to an end, was it the day I ceased to be 11? So the poet asked himself that when he just reached up to 11 years age, when he had reached till 11 years age, his childhood came to an end. Ceased means came to an end, stop. So the poet wondered that when he just reached at 11 years, he had lost his childhood. Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven? So again the poet asked himself that it was that particular time when he realized that there is the existence of hell and heaven, when he understood about hell and heaven, when he understood about the existence of hell and heaven. Okay, so during that time, during that particular moment, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood. He had entered into his adolescence age. Okay, could not be found in geography. So which could not be found in geography? The places, the imaginary places, hell and heaven. Though we know that hell and heaven exist, but yet it could not be found in geography or in the map of geography. Okay, we cannot find these places, and therefore could not be was that the day. So he realized that there are many imaginary places that actually do not exist in this world. Okay, that means the poet, he had crossed his childhood days, he had entered into his adolescence age, and he grew up his rationality. Though we know that there is an existence of heaven and hell, but still it does not really exist in the map of geography. So these are all imaginary places. So when the poet became rational, when he realized the bitter truth of reality, when he realized this realistic world, during that moment the poet wondered that he had lost his childhood days and he entered into his adolescence. Am I clear? The first stanza. Any question? Any confusion? Yes, Devargo. Kritika, yes. Okay. So in the second stanza, we can see, when did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? So the poet again repeats the same question to himself. Okay, the poet again asks the same question. The poet wonders about when his childhood came to an end. Okay, when he had lost his childhood and when he entered into his adolescent age. Was it the time I realized that adults were not? So he wonders about the day when he had lost his childhood, when he started to realize that adults, they were actually hypocrites. That means the poet realized that there is cruelty in this world. Even adults, actually, what they seemed to be, they were not. They were all hypocrites. They were telling something good, but their activities are different from what they are telling. So this is totally different. So here the poet wondered that when the moment when he realized that the adults were hypocrites, what they actually, but they do not show that thing. So they are fully different person, they are fully different individual. And even you can say the poet emphasized this line, they talked of love and preached of love but did not act lovingly. That means the adults who talked about love, who preached about love, okay, but they never behaved so lovingly. They used to talk about love, but they never behaved so lovingly. So in this particular moment when the poet realized the bitter truth of reality, that the adults are actually hypocrites, and though they talk about love, though they preach about love to others, but yet they did not behave so lovingly. Their behavior is different. Was that the day? So the poet wondered that when he realized about the bitter truth, about the cruelty of this world, then only the poet realized that his childhood came to an end and he entered into his next stage of his life. Okay? So this is about the second stanza, and the second stanza reflects the poet's understanding of this hypocrite world. Okay? Hypocrisy means totally different. What we are telling and what is our action is totally opposite to each other. We call it hypocrites, means sometimes false. Okay? Second stanza, any question? Students, second stanza, any confusion anywhere in the line? Second stanza, any confusion? Okay. So when did my childhood go? This is the third stanza. Was it when I found my mind was really mine, to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and mine alone? Was that the day? So here, in this stanza, the poet reflects his individuality. How? The poet again deliberately asks the same question, and he wondered that when he had lost his childhood, was it when I found my mind was really mine? He asked himself about all the possibilities that when he had lost his childhood, He wondered about the day when he realized that his mind was actually his. He should not be directed by others. He is not bound by others. He is a free person. He is an individual. When he understood his individual personality, then he realized that from that moment, he had lost his childhood. He entered into his next stage of life, that is adolescent stage. To use whichever way I choose. So here, the poet realized that whatever way he wanted to do, he could do like that. Whichever way he chose, he could do like that. Producing thoughts that were not those of other people. Even he could express his own thoughts. He could produce his own thoughts because he is a different individual. Each individual has its own thoughts. So when the poet realized that he could also produce his own thoughts, which were not bound by any other people, which were not bound by any other person, during that time he realized that he had lost his childhood. He entered into his next stage of life. But my own and mine alone, was that the day? When he sensed his individuality and separate personality, where he can produce his own thoughts, where he could express his own thought, whatever he is thinking, whatever way he was choosing, he could do like that. Nobody could or nobody would bind him, or his thoughts were not bound by anyone. During that particular moment, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood. So we have seen in the first stanza, in the second and the third stanza, the poet illustrates about all the possibilities that when he had lost his childhood. At first, in the first stanza, the poet reflects his rationalism. In the second stanza, the poet understood that this world is a hypocrite world. And in the last stanza, when he understood his individuality, he is a separate person and he could use his own thoughts and could express it. In this particular moments, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood and he entered into the age of adolescence. Where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face, and that's all I know. So he concluded that his childhood had gone into some forgotten place. It had gone to some forgotten place which would never come back. That's hidden in an infant's face. Infant means baby. So he cherished his innocence. He cherished his innocence, and his innocence, his childhood memories, it could only be seen in a baby's face. So only that moment, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood. So you can say in the last stanza, the poet remorses about his lost childhood. He had many sweet memories of his childhood which would soon fade away. He had conveyed a message through this poem that the innocence of childhood stays till the time one is infant, and after that it would fade away when a person would enter into his adolescence stage. Okay, so here the poet illustrates about all the possibilities when he had lost his childhood. Okay? So, I have come to an end of the poem. Any question from your side? Any question, any line? If you have not understood, please say to me. Any line. I would like to repeat. If any confusion is there, go through the poem once. Okay? Any question is there, if you want to ask me anything, you can ask. Yes. Yes, Debargo. You are free to ask any questions. Others, third stanza, fourth line. Third stanza, fourth line. Okay. Producing thoughts that were not those of other people. That means the poet understood that he can produce his own thoughts. Okay. He can think whatever he wants. Whatever way he wanted to choose, he can do like that. And these were not bound by anyone. This is his individual right. Okay? So when he realized that I am a different person, I am a individual, I am a particular individual who could express his own thoughts, who could create his own thoughts, who could express whatever way he wanted to do. So during that moment, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood. That means he could control his own thoughts. A baby could not able to control his own thoughts. Okay? So when he lost his childhood, when he had lost his childhood, he understood that he was thinking, he was creating more thoughts into his mind. So during that moment, he could realize that he had lost his childhood. This is the meaning of the third stanza, fourth line, and fourth stanza, third line. Fourth stanza, third line. That's hidden in an infant's face. That's hidden means all the childhood memories. So I am giving one example. I have lost my childhood days. I have become an adult. So when I would see a baby's face, I could able to see the innocence. So during that moment, the poet realized that he had lost his childhood. He could see the childhood's innocence in the baby's face. From that particular moment, he realized that he had lost his childhood. Okay? He was cherishing his innocence, and he could only see those childhood innocence in a baby's face. Infant means baby. Okay? Any more question? Others? Only Devargo is there. Okay. Any question? Devargo? Okay. So just go through it once at your home. Next day I'll be writing the question answers. Okay? Till then, thank you very much. Bye-bye.